On today's episode, I talked to my good friend Cristiano from Australia. He lives in the Gold Coast. He is a really cool guy, a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He trains Muay Thai with Muay Thai legend Wayne Parr. He's very knowledgeable in MMA, and we just break down fights, and we go in depth. We try to figure out why people have won or lost in recent fights, including the Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor rematch. So we hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll keep bringing you more of these. Today's podcast is brought to you by Inverted Gear. Go to invertedgear.com for all your jiu-jitsu gear needs. Type in the coupon code showtheART15 and save some good money. Our next sponsor is Chimera Coffee. Go to chimeracoffee.com, Chimera Coffee with a K, and purchase some of their coffee. They infuse their coffee with nootropics. They're basically things that help your brain operate faster. Google it, it'll help you out. Type in the coupon code showtheART and you will save 15%, something. It's a surprise. Go, plug in showtheART coupon code, and save some money. And enjoy.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, man?
Not much, man. How you doing? How's Dominican Republic?
Excellent. It was excellent.
Never seen the place, so...
My first time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. It was just tropical. It looked like your backyard, honestly.
Oh, really?
The pictures of like you at the beach, Gold Coast, better than Dominican Republic, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard to beat this place, to tell you the truth. Every time I go places, it's like we were in Rio, and all the English guys, the guys from England and Ireland and everywhere, they're like, "Oh, this place is the best. I couldn't imagine anything better than this." And I'm looking around thinking, "Yeah, I know somewhere."
My backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You can swim in the water.
Obviously, you'd never been to New Jersey, because then you'd have a different outlook on beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
New Jersey is like, just drive down the turnpike. You see.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. Factories. You smell it. It's
I've seen The Sopranos. I've seen that shit.
Literally,
the beginning of The Sopranos.
Dude, I just started watching The Sopranos like a month ago because I've never seen it before. And
what?
I always heard about it, but I've never seen it. But as I'm watching it, I see some of the streets she's driving down are like right next to me, 5 minutes away in my town. It's crazy.
Have you not seen that show, man? So good.
I just never got into it, honestly. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good. I'm on like the 4th season. Classic.
Yeah. It's starting to slow down a little bit, like I think it's like 4th and 5th. Maybe the 4th one when it's just a bit more, emotional around the relationship stuff. And
okay, ruin it for me, please.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I totally did, didn't I? Sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. I was so into it, and then
No, that's my opinion. Who knows? I maybe
good save.
Maybe on my opinions that
So
talking about Sopranos, right? Maybe it was something else.
Yeah. No.
King of Queens, wasn't it? No, I don't know.
You had King of Queens down there?
Yeah, man, I love that show. I love the King of Queens.
Kevin James.
Yeah.
Good old times. Yeah.
Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember. There was an episode when like Bus Rudin. Oh, Bus was in there a fair bit.
Yes.
Like Dan Henderson was there. Randy Couture. And they had like a bar fight with all of them.
You know what? When I was watching King of Queens, I wasn't that into MMA yet.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw Boss, and I kind of heard about him before, kind of like you heard Ken Shamrock when he was in WWE. Yeah. You're like, oh, he was an Ultimate Fighter or something like that. So I wasn't into MMA yet. So I don't remember seeing Dan Henderson. I wouldn't know who Dan Henderson was at the time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
He was in there. It was Frank Trigg was there.
Okay. Yeah, because Kevin James is friends with all those guys, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Good old Kevin James.
He's always got like a Bas Rutten t-shirt on, like he's wearing one in the episodes.
Is he really?
The old... Yeah, when Bas does like the jump and splits. That, and they have like the stencil of the silhouette of him doing that.
That's such a classic shirt. I need that shirt, man. I need it in my life. So, man, what's up, man? How's everything? Are you still in the Gold Coast?
Yeah, I'm still in the Gold Coast. I moved house. Unfortunately, not next to the beach as I was, but still the Gold Coast, so it's great.
Why'd you move?
Nothing to complain about.
What's wrong?
I don't know if you know, like I take care. I don't take care of her, but I look after my mother.
Mm-hmm.
She's in her 70s, and we've had that house at the Burleigh Beach for like 20 years, and there's 3 stories.
Wow.
So it's just all stairs, and she's in her 70s, and stairs aren't that good for her at the moment. So traded in, got a flat level place.
Nice.
So it's all flat now. Except now, this this whole house is like a massive corridor. So
it's like rectangular.
There's no stairs, but it's like a cricket pitch.
Nice.
You're gonna roll down the end of it.
Nice. So how far away from the beach are you now?
Oh, man, 10 minutes.
Okay, you're still there. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, everything's close to the beach here. There's nothing. The furthest away from the beach on the Gold Coast is probably 15 minutes with traffic, So
your town is called Burleigh Heights?
That suburb was called Burleigh Heads.
Heads?
Yeah.
I thought you said Heights.
No.
Okay. Sounds like you're changing your story on me.
No.
I feel like Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, you got me. I live in Jersey.
I knew it.
Yeah.
So, did you watch UFC 202? I
did. Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. I watched that.
What'd you think? We got to break these fights
I loved
down,
it,
man.
I loved it. I thought it was one of the best cards I've seen, to tell you the truth.
Really?
Yeah, I really loved it. You didn't like it?
No, I liked it. I just want to know why you think it was one of the best cards you've seen. I did think it was a little better than 200, but only because 200 collapsed. It imploded just from all the
all the bullshit, the week out bullshit. Yeah,
sure.
Man, I just liked it because it's just like anything. Like as soon as you attach a story to something, you're more emotionally invested in this case in the fights. So look, I think all the other pre-fight, bullshit talking, trash talking shit, kind of you can see through it a bit. And you're like, whatever, okay, this is it. But this time, I don't know. I found I was more into it. It really, I'm talking about the main event, of course. I really wanted to see that because of the story behind it. Because of the first one, seeing the guys training for it this time, I was that much more into it. Sure. Plus, backing it up with like Donald Cerrone is always a good fighter to have on a card.
Oh man, Donald Cerrone had an awesome performance,
mate. The last combo he hit. Oh. It was like watching a Tekken video game.
A thing of
beauty.
It
was perfect. It was perfect. It's one that you learn in every Muay Thai class.
Yes.
Left.
That's what I've been telling everybody. Yeah.
It was perfect. He hit a textbook, and then when they showed it in a replay and it's in slow mo, that was Tekken.
Yeah.
It
was beautiful.
It was that good.
It's like everybody who's ever trained stand up, like Muay Thai, kickboxing, like the punches and kicks stand up styles. Everybody learned that combination. High, low, high, round kick. Everybody learned that. And everybody knows that low punch is just to get the hands down. And then that hook is just to set up that kick. Like, it was perfect.
It was all perfect, man. It was textbook. You couldn't have scripted that in a movie.
No, man.
How perfect that was, The other thing is, Story did great too. I actually loved watching Story fighting that. Even when he was on his back on the ground, he did some nice it kind of looked like he went for a deep half at one point, but then came out the back.
Uh-huh.
And he stood back up against Cerrone. I don't know, Cerrone, it was a different thing to see Cerrone immediately try the takedown.
Yeah. Actually, Cerrone's been doing that at every fight in 170. His last two, this is his third fight at 170, but in the beginning of each round, he's been taking everybody down, which is really interesting. But
I don't know if you saw it too, when Story took him down, he was on his back.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
he was setting up that omoplata to the triangle.
Right to the triangle,
yeah. Because he's always doing the triangle. Like Cerrone's, off his back, he's hitting that triangle all the time. He's nasty with it.
Sure.
But it's just seeing him starting to set up the omoplata. I'm like, hang on. I know this. He's got to be. Yeah. Is this a new way, a new path? It is. It is.
and that's the funny thing too. That omoplata triangle setup, that omoplata was for the triangle, and that's another classic. Combination that you learn in every jiu-jitsu class, just like that combination that he knocked him out with. You go for the omoplata, you make his head go down so that you can slap on the triangle. In one fight, he did so much magic of martial arts. It was beautiful.
It was brilliant. And then to see, that's as you said, to see that progression of now doing a submission where you're setting it up with another one prior to get the bait is going to show the evolution of jiu-jitsu in MMA now, I think,
Yes.
It's not going to be that whole, pull the wrist, kind of slap a triangle on it. It's going to be setting things up, and then we're going to see some more really cool things on the ground. I'm seeing,
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
I'm surprised that it hasn't elevated that high yet. Like, I'm surprised because there's a lot of good jiu-jitsu guys in MMA. Like, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that guard work has been so, just block punches. And, if you're playing the guard, blocking punches is only going to go so far. Trapping their wrists and their head is only going to go so far. You need to turn that into submission attempts, and then that will open up the whole game.
Well, I don't know if you saw the in 200 that were with Anderson Silva versus DC.
Yep.
Silva was utilizing the lockdown on DC's leg to kind of sprawl his leg out, so DC couldn't get posture and just start raining down on him.
Beautiful.
But he hit that lockdown, but then he was like reaching underhooking the other side through the arm rather than doing the whole tennis planning system where I would assume anyway where you'd be underhooking the leg.
Yes.
Trying to utilize a sweep or whatever. I'm thinking maybe what his game plan was to go underhook the arm on the far side to hold DC down so McCarthy maybe would stand him up.
Yes.
To avoid the risk of, stuffing it up and copping one in the face. But I don't know, man. Like, he still copped a few and had to deal with that weight on top of him. And props to DC. Like, I love DC, man. I don't know why people boo him. I think he's the man, and he did what he had to do to win that fight. There's no point standing up with one of the best in the world who can knock your head off.
Yeah.
DC
just gets booed because he's a nice guy. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He's like the class act. Now, I thought Anderson's strategy was really good on the ground because the lockdown traps the hips, which makes it hard for you to posture up. And more than likely, DC is not used to getting himself in a lockdown because he's a wrestler. He's probably not training with jiu-jitsu guys like that. So I thought it was a really good strategy. And actually, back in the Pride days, there was one fight. I forget who it was. Anderson fought. He put him in a lockdown, and instead of hugging the leg on the far side, he underhooked the near side arm, kind of arm drag.
See, that would have been better too. I agree with that too. Yeah, underhooking the near side arm would have been better too.
Yeah, but
to advance the position, I'm saying, I agree totally with you saying that lockdown was the best strategy to do.
Yes.
I just didn't. Yeah, it was that underhooking of the far arm that was like, yeah. But what do I know?
Nothing.
He's Anderson Silva, and I'm the little 5'6" brown belt.
Aussie, yeah. No, I mean Anderson. He did what he could, and then what I love is he finally unloaded. Like the last fight or two, he hasn't been able to open up and be Anderson Silva and unwind and really let loose. And he did that against DC when they stood up. Every time they stood up, Anderson let loose like he normally did. And it was refreshing to see that. I was like, I think that fight was the one to finally take all the pressure off Anderson and for him to finally, because it was short notice fight. It's a win-win for him. He's not so
exactly
on 2 days notice.
Exactly. There's no countdown. He doesn't have to see these countdown videos and all the bullshit that goes around it. It was just kind of go out there and have fun.
Sure. Now, would you have liked to see that Anderson versus Uriah Hall match?
Yeah. I would have. I don't know how it would have went, to tell you the truth. I'm in two minds. I'm sitting on the line with that because Uriah Hall is a bad motherfucker. Seriously. But I remember him in The Ultimate Fighter. I still can't, I have nightmares seeing those spinning kicks.
Yeah.
It was one of the nastiest knockouts I've seen in my life.
It was bad, man. It was really bad. Poor guy was unconscious.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, I think that match would have been good, but I feel like at this point in Anderson's career, he's a UFC man. He's one of their poster boys, and he will be for the rest of time, really. They've locked him down. So I feel like at this point of his career, they need to preserve that. They can't have him go out and fight the young guys anymore when he really can't compete with them just because he's not as young as them. His game is not working like it used to. And I feel like they need to preserve him a little bit more and start giving him matches against guys more his age, where they don't have a big athletic advantage or a big size advantage or a huge age advantage. They need to start protecting this guy's image because they can use his title as greatest of all time MMA fighter, was a UFC champion. So let's preserve that and not keep giving him these scary fights against like Uriah Hall and even DC. Like that's a scary fight.
Yeah, oh, yeah, of course. You've seen DC throw people around? My God.
Remember when he threw around Dan Henderson?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, the Avengers movie when the Hulk gets Loki, just starts flipping him around.
Yeah.
I actually have I teach the 6:30 a.m. jiu-jitsu class here in the Gold Coast.
Okay.
And I have there's a weightlifting coach that trains with us. He's like the Gold Coast weightlifting coach for the school, for the team. This guy, man, he's 130 kilos, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
He had another guy on his back choking him who's about 95 kilos. And the powerlifter guy just reached behind, grabbed the other dude by the scruff of his gi and threw him, like just ripped him off like a towel, like he's taken off a rash guard, and just slammed him on the ground one-handed like that.
Wow.
And that was the image I got. And I just thought, oh, my God.
What a gorilla.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to the Conor and Nate fight, did you agree with the decision? Do you think Conor won? Do you think Nate won? And if so, why?
You know what? Look, I'm a Nate Diaz fan. I really wanted Nate to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's that close, man. It could have gone either way. I'm happy that Conor won, with that decision. I'm happy if it would have been a draw, and I'm happy if Nate would have won it. But I'm was giving Conor 3 rounds to 2 on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe the same thing that you believe in, and that's it was very close. You can't get mad that Conor got the decision, but also if Nate got the decision, you can't get mad. You would have had the exact same argument opposite though.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I honestly thought though it could have been a draw, but it's hard. It's hard to get draws in MMA, but I watched it again and it was close, man. It was really close.
Yeah, it's so close. It's so close. And the thing is, I think they need to really clarify or rework
the rules,
the judging stipulations. Yeah, like it was what stipulates a 10-8, what doesn't, what is scoring, and what isn't, what should be counted as a negative, because that's what it not just only creates a conflict between fans, everyone's arguing. I mean, everyone's going to argue anyway, but it creates that argument because no one's really clear. Everyone talks like they're clear and they know the rules, but no one does. No one fucking knows.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing it does is, the judges they're not ex-martial artists either, but it's not clear for them.
Yeah, they're playing.
It's not clear for them. It's not clear.
Yeah, I agree, man. And one thing that I give the edge to Conor, if anybody, is that he came closer to winning the fight than Nate did because he had those knockdowns.
Yeah.
And if you want to judge it on that, you give it to Conor. But at the end of the day, if it's a street fight, if you bump into a guy at a bar and you guys start throwing hands and he knocks you down early, but you're the one with the momentum in your hand later on in the fight, and at the end of the fight, you won the fight. So with that said, Conor clearly won the first round, but it wasn't a 10-8 round. I watched it again. Nate was battling back. He got knocked down once, but it wasn't an uneven round. That's definitely not a 10-8 round. The second round, he knocked Nate down once or twice, but again, it didn't look like uneven because Nate got back up. He started hitting him again, and then the stand-up exchanges were kind of even, a little bit in Conor's favor, but then the last minute and a half, Nate came back and took over. So Nate finished the second round with the momentum in his hand. Third round was all Nate, and Nate finished round with the momentum in his hand. Fourth round, it's either guy, but Nate finished the round with the momentum in his favor. And the same thing with the fifth round. So when I think of who won, I look at Conor started off really strong, but Nate finished, the last 4 rounds with the momentum in his hand. So they need to count that as something,
But that's why they need to clarify, because a lot of us look at the fights from the point of view of exactly like you said, okay, if this was real, who's winning towards the end? Because that's most likely, is who's at the end winning is who wins, right?
Sure.
But then other people look at it as a sport way. Okay, Conor was way more accurate with his punches, especially in the first 2 rounds. They were everything was crisp. They were all on point every single time.
Yeah, when he was fresh.
Nate. Yeah, that's right. So people talk like that, and then go, all right, count, knockdown, whatever you class as a knockdown. That's the other problem. But knockdown, 10-8. Like people look at that from the Muay Thai and from the boxing point of view. Yep, 10-8 done, boom. But, you know, what's a knockdown? He gets knocked down. Okay, yeah, hits the ground, but Nate doesn't get up because he's like, okay, if I try to stand up straight away, I'm going to get kneed in the head or going to cup an uppercut, right? So come down to me, motherfucker.
Yeah. And Nate is good on the ground. We don't know if Nate got hit with one of those knockdowns. Was Nate stumbled a little and said, "Let me fall," and hopefully I pull him in and I kind of play possum. That's a possibility too. Like we don't fully know that. The reason why it's different is because in MMA, there's a whole ground system. In boxing and Muay Thai, kickboxing, there's no ground system. So a knockdown is completely different. It should be completely different in the hands of the judges.
That's right. So I had an argument with a guy at Muay Thai the other day before we started the class.
Okay.
Like I don't argue with people. Or I try not to. Well, I do. Sorry, but I try not to get involved with conversations I'm not already in. You know, but this guy was mouthing off, just saying, "Yeah, Nate got smashed. He got smashed. He got his head punched there, and he lost it. God. You know, I can't blah 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 blah." And I had to jump in and say, "Look, I think you're using the wrong kind of words here, saying he got smashed. Why do you say he got smashed?" He goes, "Oh, I got knocked down. So if you get knocked down in a fight, mate, you've lost." So, well, no. I think you're there's two different sports we're talking about here now, and I think you're confusing what's going on. He goes, "There's only way he'd be going on the ground is if he was a jiu-jitsu fighter." And I looked at him with my mouth dropped, like, "Yeah, he is."
Exactly.
Yeah, what are you trying to say about it? Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's just the whole, it's just a whole unclarification of the rules and what stipulates a 10-8. And maybe the education too of the sport, of the fans, like, you know, as that, like, yeah, he got knocked down, he got smashed. Well, he got knocked down in the first, but he lasted 5 rounds, so there's no smashing getting involved there.
Exactly. And I feel like it comes, and we're not, I hope people don't think we're like just arguing for Nate. No, Conor did awesome.
No, yeah.
But I feel
mate, I've never seen so much, like on top of, like I thought Cerrone was accurate, man. If you watch the first round,
Connor's
nasty. Hits are unreal. They're just, he's timed too. You see him, I can tell he's watched Nate's fights before, because you know when Nate does the whole, opens his hands up really wide, like, "What, motherfucker?" And then usually goes for the Stockton slap or whatever. Conor was ready for him, whatever he did after that. Every time he'd open his hands up and be like, "What?" and then throw something. Conor countered and tagged him every single time. It was,
and Conor's really good at slipping and then throwing that cross. He's beautiful at that. And when he's fresh, it's very hard to stop him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
but
mate, he's beautiful to watch, man.
Yeah, this game is not about who's best when they're fresh. It's about who's best during the duration of time. And if I were in Conor's camp and if I were Conor, I'd be very upset with this performance because it looked like he was draining, and that's something that failed him in the last fight. And it almost costed him the fight this time.
It was early on too. It was halfway through the second round he started to slow down.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, this is early. What's going on here? What? Is it because Nate's head's so strong?" You know? He unleashed everything he had in those really crisp punches that it ran out, but who knows?
Now, getting back to my point, I'm thinking too, like, the conditioning we have of MMA being a young sport and everybody being conditioned to boxing. Boxing, for the most part, not even kickboxing because it's not popular, but boxing. In boxing, like you said, you get knocked down, it's significant. It's super significant. And normally one knockdown, is it 1 or 2 knockdowns is a 10-8 round in boxing?
It's 1, it should be, I'm pretty sure.
One knockdown.
One standing 8 count.
Is a 10-8 round
correctly.
Yeah, and you're done.
I'm remembering from EA Sports Fight Night.
But
Roy Jones, baby. That was me.
Man, what a killer. That's the cheat code when you just pick Roy Jones.
Yeah, that's right.
But I feel like the conditioning of that, people think, "Oh, you knocked them down." This is not boxing. It's different, man.
No.
Like, and you can't argue if you don't really understand the full, like, everything about MMA. If you don't understand how the ground games work, i.e. wrestling, jiu-jitsu, sambo, any type of ground game, if you don't understand how they work, you really have no argument. You really can't.
No, that's right.
The funny thing is, actually, I don't want to change subjects, but I was listening to the post-fight press conference with Cerrone, and one of the reporters, did you listen to it?
No.
Okay, so this is perfect because you didn't. One of the reporters asked Cerrone about that beautiful combination. Donald, Now, do you think that the body shot that you landed was the significant piece to the puzzle when that combination? Do you think that body shot is what knocked him out? Is what did it? Because in my opinion, she said, "In my opinion, you're a reporter."
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
You're a reporter. She's like, in my opinion, the body shot is what solidified. I'm speaking like, I forget what she said exactly.
Paraphrasing.
But she's like, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. In my opinion, the body shot is what did it. And I'm like, you're such an ignorant idiot. If you knew anything about stand up, if you ever trained for 6 months, you would know that body shot wasn't even meant to be landed. It was meant to get the hands to drop. It was meant to F with them so that, the other punches that come after that or kicks are what landed. That high-low high to a kick combination, that jab was to get you thinking high, so then you hit the cross low, and then you bring the hands down, and then that hook or that jab is to get the hands back up to confuse them so that you can land a kick. Like, if you've never trained before, it should be totally... I mean, if you have trained before, it should be totally obvious. And the fact that she asked that question made me think, like, why are you even reporting? It's sad. It's sad that we have people.
The fact that they asked the question and then answered it for him.
Exactly.
That's poor interviewing, if you ask me. Yeah, that's more like stating their own ego on the matter rather than getting information to report back to the.
Exactly. And my point too is it's the wrong information. Like, if you knew anything about anything, the body shot is not what put it together. It was the combination. It was everything. The body shot might not have even heard of him. He might have barely touched him with the body shot. The whole point was that kick at the end, really.
That's what I was about to say. Was the body shot the integral part? I think the shin to the face might have been it.
Exactly. And then after that, I think he landed a knee. And that's
he chased him down. Well, he chased him down. Yeah,
but
it was nice.
But anyway, getting back to the McGregor Diaz fight, I thought Conor was sharp when he was energetic, and you know what, man? I feel like based on him getting more knockdowns, and it's such a close fight, you give it to him. Even though Nate landed more total strikes, Nate was Conor's. I think his strike percentage was like 3 points higher, which is not a lot. So later in the rounds, he kind of decreased in the percentage wise. But another thing too, people were saying Conor was running. It's not that he was running; it's that he was disengaging. And when somebody starts to disengage, you know there's something wrong, and that's the problem.
The other thing is too, every time he did walk away from him. Right? Okay, he's tired. He wants to disengage. Maybe the game, there's two reasons I'm thinking of it too, besides being tired. One is, it's like in jiu-jitsu. You want to be the first initiating your game to start your path, your sequences, your path, your game, right? If you're not in your game, you want to break grips, disengage, and start it again so you can. So for him, he was getting dusted in those clinches. Yeah. To me, it's like, okay, hang on. Nate might be setting stuff up here to get me in these clinches again, and then I don't want to be there. So disengage, boom, and I'll start from where I want to be on the outside. Started working those legs again. The other thing is every time he walked away, well, not every time, I can't remember too well, but most of the times he walked away was getting away from the cage. If you notice, they were walking back. All right, he started walking back to the center, getting away from that clinch. That clinch game really rocked him. I don't know I think it was Kavanagh, his corner, was saying, you're winning the clinches, Conor. I don't know where the fuck he was watching. He was getting fucked up in those clinches.
It's funny because Conor, after the fight, was like, I was just he started hitting me and I felt like I was in the same scenario as the first fight. So what I started doing is started shoulder rolling and letting the punches bounce off my shoulders. Dude, Conor, you need to watch the fight again because when he had you against the fence, he was landing a lot of shots, man. Like, they weren't bouncing off your shoulders. I get it. That was kind of what you were thinking was happening. Yeah. You were getting smacked in the face, my brother.
Yeah.
I still think you won the fight, though, but watch the fight over before you critique yourself.
Great strategy for him, though, too, to work on that front leg. I see that, that made a big impact early.
I feel like that was the thing that
what Nate was doing with those kicks, with his own kicks.
I think he was trying to get Conor to just to give him a different look. Nate's shake
it up.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to give him
I was watching those kicks going, oh, that's uglier than me.
Yeah, it was like, do your hips move at all? Like, hips, his hips. Nate's hips look so tight throwing those kicks.
It looked like he was. I'm not going to say shit. I love Nate. I'm not going to make fun of
it. I think it's very arguable that Nate won, but it's also very arguable that Conor won. And on that note, like, he won the fight. That's it. The judges say he won. Yeah. Half people say he won. So let's give it to him. He came closer to winning. So I'll give it to him. Now, the
100%.
The gripe I have with Conor McGregor, and this because I'm a fan of his fights. I'm not a fan of the Conor McGregor image, but I'm a fan of his fighting style. But what I don't like, man, is he's the king of contradiction. He calls himself the king. He's the king of contradiction, dude. You can't like complain about Jose Aldo implementing a very specific strategy at UFC 200 to defeat Frankie Edgar when you did the exact same thing against Nate. You implemented a very specific strategy to defeat Nate. Yeah. And your main 100%. Strategy is what Aldo's known for. And that's leg kicks. Like, dude. It like makes zero sense that he's like not complaining about him, but kind of shitting on him with he didn't go out there and try to finish. You didn't try to finish, Nate.
100%. Yeah.
All the times you dropped him, you didn't approach him. You came in, grabbed the ankles, and you backed out. So
that's because he knows that if he got on the ground, like I mean, he got Dylan Dennis out there, and they're like, he's working on his jits. But he fucking knew, and everyone else knows that if he gets on the ground with him,
he's fucked.
He's got good jiu-jitsu. I've seen him roll in on videos, not in real life. I've seen Conor. He looks good. He can handle himself.
Yeah, no, he can. I've seen.
Not saying that I'm like some well-known fighter myself, but it's just a different level.
I mean, you are a different level,
and he knew it.
Yeah. No, yeah.
What did you say? Sorry.
I said, well, you are sponsored by Scramble, so of course you're like.
I am. Yeah.
But no, you're right.
The least active athlete. I'm active with writing and Instagram, mate. That's what they love that.
That's why they give you the geese.
Yeah, no, big shout out to Matt Benyon, Ben, and Matt McGovern out there. Thanks so much for looking after me.
Boom. They make awesome gear.
Yeah.
They make awesome gear.
Dude, the newest gear is so sick. Man, people out there, I don't know if you're listening, I always make jokes about my own height, but I'm like 5'6", but I have a weird body shape.
I think you're
in terms of legs and arm length. Sorry?
I think you're 5'5". Let's not exaggerate.
5'5"?
Yeah.
Come on, son. Depends if I'm wearing what night it is and what the lifts and the shoes I'm wearing. But this gi is sick, man. They got the Navy. They sent me the athlete. They have the athlete brand for all the IBJJF comps. And this one's a Navy one. Man, it's so good.
Nice.
So good.
Nice. Yeah, man. Send it to me and I'll try it out.
You're too tall, brother. You're too tall.
I tried to slide that in.
I did it the other day. I grabbed one of the kids' gis at the gym just for a joke.
Yeah.
To put the gi on and take a photo, and it actually fit. And I was like, oh, man.
Nice. That's a problem.
Yeah. They call me Naniko at the gym. So it's like a little man. Naniko? So that's why I keep hashtagging Naniko.
What is that? What language is that?
Portuguese.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't.
It's like slang. Yeah.
Okay. Nice, man. Niquinho.
Yeah. Nah, Naniko's short enough. I don't need an Ino at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, what did you think about Anthony Johnson and Glover Teixeira? Yikes.
Yeah. Scary. That was, man, going into that, you knew something was going to happen, as in, like, someone's getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Maybe there would have been a death. There's just, both guys are just machines, massive, like, huge heads, can take punches, usually before this one. Just monstrous, like Anthony Rumble Johnson's a freak, dude. That guy is so strong. Yeah. Him and DC, like the way they can throw people around is crazy. And, like,
it's amazing.
Teixeira's massive, strong, and super technical, like such a good boxer. And it was just surprising, but not surprising just to see it end so fast.
Yeah. What do you think went wrong for Glover? Like, what in your opinion?
The fist hitting him in the head.
Well, strategy.
That uppercut in the face, man.
What do you?
That fucked him.
So, do you think his head hitting the fist is that what went wrong for him?
Yeah. That was his first mistake. That was. Yeah, dude. Like it was. Yeah.
Do you think him?
It was interesting the way that It's interesting the way that Rumble Johnson led in for that uppercut. Like you saw he I don't know if he faked a jab with the left to start, but his hand came behind his head to hold the back of his head as he came up with the uppercut.
Yeah. It looked like he was setting up a cross, in my opinion. It looked like he was winding back and the cross was coming and the uppercut slid in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I feel like Glover, I feel like against somebody like Anthony Johnson who has power, you don't come in and pressure this guy. That was his first mistake.
Yeah.
Glover came in, he tried to pressure him and kind of, I guess the idea of pressuring a guy like that is to get him to show like, hey, I'm not backing down. I'm game.
Yeah.
But you don't do that.
The macho way.
Yeah. Poor Glover.
That gets a lot of people in trouble, man. That's the thing. That whole like, I'm going to impose this straight up. Yeah. That works on certain games, people with certain games, and it's other people, man, you got to take a different approach to that.
Exactly.
Because, that's this, like the heavyweights, the guys at this level and that weight and that power, there's a small margin for error. And then with those two guys, there's even a smaller, especially Rumble, is even a smaller margin for error. You don't want to be, dicing with, all right, I'll catch this one, maybe roll off this punch. No, you got to be avoiding those landmines.
Mm-hmm. And that's not like a knock on you for implementing that strategy. Just like it's not a knock on Conor for not playing the normal Conor game. Like you should implement the strategy that's going to work best for the fight. That's part of being an intelligent fighter. Like sometimes you have to.
That's right. Well, it's like with jiu-jitsu when people say, like I do a lot of footlocks now. I'm finding footlocks. I'm really loving no-gi at the moment and doing footlocks because it's evening out the playing field between my size and bigger guys.
Okay.
I'm able to catch them a bit more, And then someone said to me the other day, man, you don't even try to pass the guard anymore. You just take leg locks. I'm thinking, yeah, but I tapped you. Yeah. Okay, so therefore I won. Yeah. So is the goal in jiu-jitsu to tap you or just to tap you the way you want me to do it? So that's it. You use the right strategy to win.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
And if I can't tap you with leg locks because your defense is good, then I'm going to try to pass your guard. And I'm going to try to
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, the leg lock game has really shined a light on a big glaring weakness that a lot of jiu-jitsu guys have, and that's the neglect for a leg game, whether it be offense 100%. Or defense, and
defense majorly with the you got to be careful playing De La Riva and Spider and everything, and when your legs are hanging around, you got to be onto that because they're just dangling. They're like it's like just I don't know what dangles in front of you. That's good. Carrots for a donkey.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I need another coffee.
What I noticed, like rolling now with guys that are going for leg locks because everybody's getting into it. It's just making me way more sensitive to everything. Wherever I put my feet, I'm just sensitive to pull it out or to turn my knee out or. It made me more aware in general. Like it's a really good thing. I'm not really attacking too many leg locks. I've added a few things, but it made my defense way better, man. I'm way more aware, like defensively.
How's your poker face now?
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I think my poker face is always good.
You maintain when that when that footlock's getting cranked. You're like that's nothing.
Yeah. My poker face, I feel like my poker face has always been kind of good, but heel hooks, man, I got torn meniscus. I got to tap.
Yeah, you got it. Man, heel hooks don't fuck around with, You just go, okay, all right, you got me.
Sure.
You got me. It's Tuesday night in the gym. There's no medals here.
Yeah.
Done.
You're a blue belt. It's okay. You can tap me. No big deal.
Yeah. What
do you think of Cody Garbrandt?
Oh, scary. Dude, that guy's scary.
Dangerous, right?
Yeah, that's my we were watching the fight at home, and I had one of my Japanese really good friends from Japan.
Okay.
He trained at the same gym as Miyazaki.
As Cody Garbrandt?
No. Miyaki.
Miyazaki. I'm teasing.
The opponent, Miyazaki. Yeah. So like his coach was in the training in the corner and everything. So we got around to watch that. It was all good, and that was a pretty quiet few minutes after that fight.
Yeah.
Scary to watch that dude. That dude can bang.
Yeah, he rolled him over, man. That was pretty sad. Not sad.
I'm interested to see him and Cruz.
Do you think he should get the next title shot? I have my opinion on it, but I'd like to know yours.
I don't really have an opinion on whether he should get it or not. I just want to see it.
I feel like Dillashaw is getting the short end of the stick. Like he should have gotten an immediate rematch, and if he didn't, winning your next fight should have gotten him that rematch, and he did.
How good was that?
Beautiful, masterful.
So good. So man, he's so like just a unorthodox style. Like where he crosses his feet over a lot and changes stance. Like training with Dwayne Ludwig, I don't know, it must be.
Dillashaw's turned into a master of offense, man. Truly, I feel like if his dexterity in his legs and his high kicks needs to improve a little bit. But besides that, because when he fought Cruz, a couple of those high kicks, he fell on. Like he kind of lost his balance, and I think it's just a dexterity problem, a dexterity issue. So if he improved on that, I feel like maybe that's my professional opinion. Not that he needs it or anything. I'm just saying. But he's a master of offense, man. It's beautiful to watch. It shows like the classic theory of the best defense is a good offense. Just
that's right.
Don't put yourself in a defensive position by constantly attacking and keeping the guy guessing. And he makes people hesitate with the footwork and faking them out by switching his feet off of. He switches his stance off of punches. He disguises his punches by switching his stance. Like the web he weaves is very intricate.
Yeah, I remember we were watching it. My friend was watching him changing his feet, as you said, in between punches. Mm-hmm. And my friend said to me, "Is that good to do?" I remember just thinking, "Not when I do it. I'll fall on my ass if I do that shit."
If I do it, I trip over my own feet. Of course,
I'll knock myself out.
It's like what I always tell my students, whether it's jiu-jitsu or stand-up. I don't really teach too much stand-up anymore. I don't really train too much stand-up anymore. I'd like to, but I focus more on jiu-jitsu. But whenever I tell them stuff like that, whenever I teach, I say, learn all the rules. Learn how to do everything right. Once you learn how to play by the rules, then you can break them. But don't start breaking rules until you've gotten the foundation correct. Like when people say, "Oh, should I keep my hands down?" But you're telling me to keep my hands up. But Dillashaw fights with his hands down. Yeah, but Dillashaw has gotten to an advanced level where he can break the rules and still be fine. He has setups with breaking the rules. So
he knows what he's doing.
Yes. So
it's like what Bruce Lee said. You got to learn to unlearn. So you learn everything. You get everything down, then you unlearn it, and then that's what you got to do it. You got to learn all the basics. Just finished reading that book by who was the Searching for Bobby Fischer guy, Josh Waitzkin.
Waitzkin, yes.
Is that it? Yeah, that book's great. Like he speaks about that concept in the book.
Okay.
Learning to unlearn, just learning the most minor intricacies of any movement. Learning it so much that you've unlearned it. You don't have to think about it, and it's there, and then. You progress and develop your own style after.
Sure. Yeah, it's not about...
So it's kind of like developing intuition.
Gotcha. So now you don't have to follow the steps. It's ingrained in your DNA at that point.
That's right.
But you do have to maintain it. Because if you stop doing it for a while, it kind of slips by. It loses its sharpness. It loses its luster. You need to maintain it somewhat.
Yeah.
I like that. Learn to unlearn. Is that yours?
Yeah. No, it's Bruce Lee. I wish that was me, but it's other dude. He's
this guy
slightly more talented than me.
Yeah. Bruce Liu or something like that.
Yeah.
You might have heard of him.
Yeah.
So a fight I just watched last night or rewatched last night was Joanna Champion versus Claudia Gadelha, the rematch.
Is that her last name? Is that how you say her last name?
That's how I say it because she is a champion.
Joanna Champion?
Yeah. And I'm not a champion.
Yin Jacek?
Yeah. Yin Jacek, yes.
Yin Jacek? Yeah, I Googled YouTube so many pronunciations of that. So today, just in case you ask me about her, Yin Jacek, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it is Yin Jacek.
I mean, we had a couple of Polish guys staying with us in the hostel in Connection Rio in Brazil. And I remember we were out to lunch one day and I made the guy, "Man, tell me how to pronounce this. I need to do it." And we sat there for 20 minutes. I still couldn't get it. Still couldn't do it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it's a tough name to say, but once you get it down, it's there.
If you don't take the letters, the spelling of it into your head, it's easier to say.
Yeah.
But if you try to think of what the hell, there's more letters than my name.
Yeah, it's like Jedrzejczyk.
There's an R in there chucked in for
there's a Z in there.
Add some weight.
Yeah. What did you?
There's a hashtag.
There's a
Sorry.
hashtag in there. There's an asterisk in her name. I don't know how the asterisk got in there. What did you think of that fight?
Man, I love that fight. I thought that fight was great. There was so much happening in that fight.
Oh my god.
Man,
Joanna's on
so
another
much
level,
happening.
man.
She's one of my favorites to watch. Like, I love watching. I like the lighter weights, you know, and like straw weights is nearly as light as you can get. But that's for me. That she's one of the best fighters to watch at the moment in MMA.
Absolutely, yeah. Man. And what I like about her is she knows how to deal with adversity. Because like Claudia had her pretty much beat in the first 2 rounds just by controlling her and grappling her, and it wasn't 10-8 rounds, it was 10-9 rounds in my opinion. It wasn't a dominant first and second round, but just the way, if you know jiu-jitsu and you watch how Joanna was escaping and standing back up, her half guard work was beautiful, man.
I was just about to say that she had a rolling half guard to one point where she had the underhook and then switched it to the leg and took like a single to stand up.
Yeah,
that was
so pretty.
To do that on anyone, let alone a black belt from Nova União, is like, wow, that's unbelievable. I can't believe she was able to get up, you know, avoiding. She had the pressure on her, but she was able to avoid, you know, some dire strikes laid on her head. I don't know if dire was the right word there, but
sure.
Any significant strikes, landed on her. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, I believe that was a classic. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I believe that was a classic example of pick something very specific and only do that. That's the answer. So don't deviate. Like when she got taken down, every time she just kept kind of going back to that half guard and looking for the underhook and getting to the elbow and either like switching to getting a standing single to kind of get Claudia to sprawl out, or getting to the elbow, backing up to the fence and cage walking. She
utilized it. She had in the first exchange in the first round. I remember she used a really nice butterfly guard. You remember that?
Yes. She kept inserting
the got the high underhooks to open up Claudia's elbows, to stretch her out, stretch the legs away. That's perfect.
Sure.
100% perfect. And then, like the whole escapes are amazing. It was just great to watch. Great to watch. She used a lot of good, dirty boxing tactics against the cage. You know, you saw that. I think there was a bit of strategy there. Like besides being the good Muay Thai, the old Muay Thai way when their heads are connected together, she puts her hands on the forehead to tilt the head back and then she was firing those right elbows in.
Sure.
But I think because of all the animosity that was going on before the fight, there was a bit of a strategy too. She knows she's going to put her up against the cage and like pretty much have her way there. So frustrate her, put her hand, cover her nose. A bit worried about the eye pokes, but push it there, push her face away. A couple of times, Claudia ended up just going fuck this and backing up from frustration and try to throw punches rather than keeping to that game. You know,
sure.
She did that perfectly, and then towards the end of the fight, she was doing that and just landing some unbelievable elbows.
Oh man, yeah, she's really good at defending a takedown and smacking you with an elbow. Defending the takedown, smacking you with an elbow. Her performance.
Oh, it was vicious, wasn't
it? Who did she beat to win the championship? Crap, I forgot her name. I'm sorry.
Who was it? What was it? Jessica I? No.
No.
Nah, man.
I'll tell you right now. It's crap. How did I forget, man? Carla Esparza. There we go. Carla Esparza.
Yeah.
She would sprawl and then treat her with an elbow. Sprawl, treat her with an elbow. Boom! And every time it was killing her. And she's so good at clinch work that I feel like she's good at like being efficient. Blocking the clinch work, not using too much energy, placing her body in just the right position, getting the right underhooks, like you said, putting the hands in the right spot on the forehead, on the nose, pushing off, throwing a strike here and there just to keep Claudia off her really, and then escaping. And then when Claudia got tired from just implementing that strategy, just the lightning fast combinations were coming at her, and Joanna's really good at switching stances and disguising her punches. Man, she's I don't know, man. She's on another level.
The last two rounds, it was. I checked the stats. I'm checking the stats right now. The last 2 rounds, it was 75-6 strikes.
Wow.
Landed in round 4, and in round 5 was 52-4.
Wow.
For Joanna.
You know what impressed me the most? at the end of not the end, the start of the 5th round, the last round, number 5. They already fought for what 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Joanna looked just as fast as she did in the first round.
Faster. She looked better.
Yeah. Who does that?
I don't know, man. I'm really envious of people with cardio. Like, man, I wish I knew the fast track to get that cardio going that didn't involve hours of cardio.
Sure. I feel like the common denominator with a lot of cardio kings in MMA is just not being a muscle bound freak.
Yeah.
And it's not because if you're jacked, you're incapable of having good cardio. If you're jacked, that means you're spending more time muscle building than the cardiovascular and the it's really that. Yeah. If you had all the time in the world to do both, then you can. But if you're doing both, you probably don't have much time to spend on actual technique, and that's going to suffer.
It's dividing up your time, allocating to what you need to do. Really. Well, what's your goals now? You're going to be this type of fighter. You're going to be that type. You got to choose who you want to be, really, and how that's going to affect your fights, and then accommodate your training to that.
Absolutely.
But as you saw, like in the first round, like Claudia had a lot of dominating a lot of the cage work, a lot of the time on the ground. Another thing in the first round, I don't know if it slowed Joanna down a little bit, because when she was teeing off in the last segments of the round, of the first one at least, she was teeing off straight in front of her. She wasn't moving side to side like she usually does. Yeah. And I remember hearing her coach actually, telling her off for that, saying, "Hey, don't stand in front and strike. What are you doing?" Then later on, it was just as it went, I couldn't believe it. Like, as you go along, 4th and 5th round, she's just darting around, switching stances. Yeah. She had a nice setup. She throws a jab like Wayne Parr a lot of the time. She just loads it up. That jab's like, bah. She throws it in, fires with the cross, and then she went again with it, threw in with a jab that she was in distance and threw it with a right elbow instead. And it was just, mate, it was so. That's why I'm saying this is one of the best fights I've seen for a long time, because of the technique involved by both fighters. Even Claudia's, when she was on top in the half guard, I don't know if you noticed, she utilized her own half guard lock herself. Yes. She locked her own legs on the top, but made the lock down by the crook of the knee. Yes. So one thing I think is keeping that leg straight, not letting her. Allows her to put more pressure on the hip. She can't move side to side. The other thing was that it stopped Joanna from getting her leg out to lock her own half guard. Yes. Yeah. To use it against the leg to do anything. It was like perfect. Then I think it was like the 3rd round, maybe 2nd or 3rd round, when Claudia had her pinned in that half like walking up the cage escape. She had that leg pinned there and was just like tagging her in the face.
That's right.
As Joanna was kind of sitting at a 90 degree to that cage. Yeah, and this is brilliant. These are the intricacies that a lot of people are missing. Yeah, this little thing like that. That's such a difference. Where do you lock your leg?
Sure.
Is it above the knee? Is it below the knee? Is it on the knee? Is it near the hip? They all make a difference.
Now, do you think that whether Claudia got tired or not, Joanna would have been able to eventually adjust and implement her game plan like she did? Or do you think if Claudia never got tired, the same strategy she would have been able to implement it for 5 rounds?
Well, I think Joanna would have. I think. All right, this is who knows if it happened or not, but it's my opinion. I reckon she would have been able to adapt, because you saw it later on. So at the start with Claudia's takedown, she had these really high underhooks. Yeah. Okay, so her underhooks were real high. And then she was using rotational force of her takedowns. Those ones she was like doing like a bear hug, using her core. Yeah, like she had the real high underhooks and then used the rotation of her core to do the throw. Joanna later in the rounds was savvy to this, and then you saw it when she was against the cage, and Claudia was setting up these takedowns again, the same style. Joanna's adapted, spread her leg wide, so she got a good a lunging position stance, and then leaned her butt into the cage to use the cage and the distance of her legs to stop any kind of rotational takedown. Sure. Yeah. And Claudia's got like a barrel for a core, man. That's that technique was spot on to stop that kind of strength doing it.
Sure. And a couple times later in the fight, I think in the 3rd round, Joanna was getting like a whizzer on one of the arms, and she was going for, I forget what the throw's called, but she was going for throws where she
the judo kind of
and that was and she actually threw her once, maybe twice because of it, and that was a really good strategy of of defending a takedown by going for your own.
Yeah,
you know,
the first one she landed when she countered the takedown by throwing that judo style hip throw.
Yeah,
and she landed that. The second time, Claudia was savvy to it, and then in the middle of the roll, she reversed it and rolled on top the second time.
Yeah, she rolled on top. Yeah,
this is it. This is what you're seeing. You're just seeing in the moment problem solving every time. Like you got me once, you're not getting me twice.
Yes,
in an event in a cage where people are screaming and there's so much online, and then being able to do this with their brains is awesome. Man. To see this, that's athletes. That's a high level.
It shows, like you said, how good Claudia's jiu-jitsu is. Like the ability to adapt and to remember a transition previously in the fight, and then adjusting live when it starts to happen. That's high level jiu-jitsu, man. And if you're not a high level person, it's very hard for you to relate. And I don't mean like high level Marcelo Garcia high level. I mean like high level like brown belt, where you really start to get those intricacies, where you really start to get like how to adjust mid technique.
That's right, yeah.
And she's really good at that. So Claudia, good performance. I think her issue is the cardio, man. It's blatantly obvious.
But it's her style too. That's the other thing. Like she used so much takedown techniques, pressure against the cage, this and that. And that's great to use against a striker as she did. But then again, Joanna's we all know she's got crazy cardio, crazy cardio. So you got to think like, what strategy is it the best strategy to use? If it's going to suck your energy against someone who's got seemingly energy for days.
So true. And this is not a 3-round fight. It's a 5-round fight. It's a championship fight.
Yeah.
If it was 3 rounds, you're good.
5 rounds, mate.
Holy shit, yeah.
I couldn't do. Oh, man. That's just, I'm getting puffed thinking about that.
5-minute rounds.
Yeah. That's 25 minutes. That's like a Seinfeld episode.
Without all the commercials, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I thought it was a really good fight, man. And one of the best performances by anybody in the history of martial arts, in my opinion. Joanna, just her striking is so sharp. Her setups are so sharp. Her ability to read people and draw them in and lead them into certain things was amazing.
Yeah.
Or is amazing.
She's aware, too, that Claudia's not a type of person to throw leg kicks. And Claudia was hunting the takedown off a barrage of punches or kicks. So she was able to use, I don't know if you know, she leaned a lot more heavily on her front leg so she could hit that jab out further and keep more distance each time. And that's as I said, another thing, just being that high level that you can recognize, all right, this is their game, so I can use this kind of technique. Whereas, didn't like leaning on heavily on your front leg is probably not the best thing to do against someone with more of a Thai boxing background who's gonna that's like that's like a hamburger to them. They're just going after that all day. Which
is what happened in the Nate and Conor fight. Nate is heavy on the front leg, and Conor decided to blast that leg, which is a strategy that worked against Nate in the past. So really good fight. Now, my last fight that I want to talk about is Aldo versus Edgar.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was a very good fight for Aldo. Really, really sharp in implementing a strategy. Not only to not get drawn into a guy's strengths, which is Frankie Edgar, like you stand toe to toe with him. He's really good at coming in and out, but also Aldo's takedown defense is like probably the best in the history of martial arts. Did you see
especially to do against Frankie?
Yeah.
Like to stop Frankie from doing it.
Oh my god.
With that little blot, like it's incredible.
Did you see a couple times he just hip turned him off of him, or a couple times he mushed his face and threw him to the ground like a child, like you would do against somebody, one of your kids' students. It's crazy.
He looked a lot fuller than he did against Conor. Like I'm talking in physique. Yeah.
Okay.
His muscles looked fuller. He looked a lot healthier than like when I saw him against Conor. I don't know if it was just his face influencing the way I perceived the way he looked, but he looked flat.
He didn't. He definitely didn't look what he normally is, and that could be because he was injured previous to the fight, and that kind of takes away from your training. Maybe. Maybe.
All right, but he came out. He looked like when he came out for Frankie, he looked like Tupac.
Yeah.
He was ripped and he was gangster.
And what I
like, gangster is Tupac, man. He killed it.
He's always been gangster, man.
I know.
even when he loses, he's gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I liked about Aldo too is he righted. Is that a word? He corrected He corrected wrongs that previously hurt him in the past. And in this fight, one of the things that hurt him in the past was always just trying to implement your strength. Sometimes that's not the best idea, and that's what happened against Conor. He tried to implement his strength, and Conor was completely ready for it, countered him, he was out. If he strategized very specifically, which is what Conor did for this last fight and what Aldo did for this fight, sometimes you have to strategize. Even if you feel you're the best in the world, sometimes you have to put your strength on in the back seat and do what's best for the fight. And that's what Aldo did. And he was able to really, in my opinion, dominate the momentum of the fight. He didn't dominate Frankie like it was completely one-sided, because Frankie did very well, but he dominated the momentum of the fight. And he stopped every takedown. Every time there was an exchange, Frankie always came up short, and Aldo, he didn't throw that much, but he landed just as much. I think the striking percentage was very close to even percentage.
Yeah.
So that means he threw less.
But even
yes, go.
I was going to say, I'll just compliment what you're saying. When he did land too, they were solid, man. They were solid hits.
Yeah.
Like
when he did land, he was trying to knock him the fuck out.
Dude,
excuse my Australian, but he was trying to knock him the fuck out.
Yeah. No, those straights were vicious, man. That was good. It was a good fight for I think two high level professionals that are looking to win.
Yeah.
You know, okay. Technique, strategy, brilliant. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't as exciting as the Joanna fight or the Nate and Conor fight. You know, in that terms that way. All those fights utilize strategy by one person to correct the mistakes they've done in the past and to go good. Okay, but this one, I don't know whether it's just a mix of styles or this and that or just whatever. I lost interest. Kind of halfway through it.
I personally like how Aldo fought that fight, and
100%. I agree with that.
The thing is, when I fight like kind of like what Aldo was doing. I like to move a lot and draw the guy in. So I was very interested. I was very engaged in that fight. It was pretty exciting for me to watch. But I could see how many people were just like, "Come on, man, come on." But that's another point that I have, man. Just because you're moving in the direction that's backwards does not mean that the other guy has ring control, or control of the fight. No. That does not mean that.
That brings it back to the whole for the judges again, octagon control. Yes. Oh, hang on. Is the guy luring him in? Yeah. Or is he being controlled? That's the thing. That's exactly.
Now, if the fight,
that's where it's got to be clarified.
Yes, exactly, and that's a problem with the judges. If the fight started where Aldo was moving forward, or planting his feet and holding his position, and then later on, as he was being attacked, he started moving backwards, then maybe that is control for Frankie, because Frankie's backing him down and landing strikes. But if you started the fight by moving backwards and drawing the guy in, just like Wonder Boy does a lot, then the other guy does not have control. In fact, the guy moving backward has the control, because you're forcing the other guy to adjust to you and not the other way around. And
that's right. You're baiting him. You're bringing him in. You're controlling what he's doing.
Yes.
In that way, and like the puppet master.
If you've never trained, or you haven't trained for at least a year, you don't get that. And that's the problem. That's another problem with the judges.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Fortunately,
I was going to say, I usually I have friends around, we watch them together, and half are fighters and half, have no idea, and just trying to explain this thing to them. They're like, "Oh, he's not doing too good." And you go, "No, okay, man, no." He's okay to be on his back. This is what they do.
He's doing really good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just education. Like, the more the sport gets, the more people get into the sport, the more they're going to learn about it. But it is one of those things you're better off learning about it by doing it. And, by doing it, like starting jiu-jitsu or going to do Muay Thai or boxing or whatever. Not having to fight, but just getting you. All right, hang on. This is what it feels like under here.
Yeah, absolutely. And being a little consistent, training. Learn it. Are you in the friggin' jungle? Is that a parakeet behind you?
Oh, this is Australia, mate. This is that's what we have.
So we have pigeons. You have parakeets.
We have rainbow parakeets and galahs and
nice.
all the good Aussie words.
I'll take pigeons. They carry diseases, but they don't make any noises. They're not bothering me.
we have pigeons too.
Do you really?
Yeah, yeah, we got pigeons.
Huh. Okay.
Maybe there must be some kind of different.
Yeah, you don't have
mutation of them,
these
saying
New York, New Jersey pigeons. You definitely don't have them.
No. With the attitude.
Dude, pigeons in my area do not give one. I don't want to keep saying fuck, but they don't give a fuck. You walk past, you're driving in the middle of the road, a pigeon's not going to move because they know you're going to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the most gangster pigeons in the world, honestly.
Did you ever see that Seinfeld episode when George hits the squirrel?
Yeah.
Squirrel?
Yeah.
That's the best. He goes, we had a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a classic episode where you're supposed to move. I'm driving. You're supposed to be the one moving.
And he has to pay for the, because he's trying to impress that chick.
Yeah.
He's like, he's got to pay for the veterinary bills and he's got to look after it and give it medication and walk it.
On that note, man, I got to go. I got to get back home and eat dinner and recover from training.
Oh, good.
But,
nice.
It was a pleasure, man. Always great having you on and talking about
Always
everything.
A pleasure.
And we got to talk soon, man.
For sure, mate. For sure. Thanks for having me again.
For sure, dude.
I just, before I go, just want to say thanks for my coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Vicenci Kavakanchi for my jiu-jitsu and Wayne Parr for Muay Thai. If you're ever in Australia, the Gold Coast, come see these guys at Southside Jiu-Jitsu or at Boonchu Muay Thai.
And that's John Wayne Parr.
That is
Muay
John
Thai
Wayne Parr.
Legend. He trains with him, so get jealous. Get jealous right now.
Get jealous. Don't be jealous of the jokes. Don't have to listen to, but yeah, get jealous.
That's like training basketball with LeBron James. Like,
it is, man.
It's amazing.
Dude, he's the most humble guy.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's really amazing to see someone of that caliber and just that notoriety who's just, hello. He's like, how you going? Hey, man. Like, cracking jokes. So they're always happy to help and teach you a little bit extra technique. Man, he's the man.
He is the man.
And his wife's awesome too, and the kids are great.
His kids are animals. I just see these Instagram videos. I'm learning. I watch his daughter's videos just so I can practice in the gym and learn what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's pretty amazing, man. And
man, she's an awesome kid. Yeah. She's such an amazing kid. Like so friendly and happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Nice,
and the little boy, Jesse, I've been teaching him leg locks, but don't tell anyone.
Nice.
Teaching him heel hooks. So he's getting ready for his dad when he gets bigger. You got to borrow the car, Dad. Bang!
Now I'm borrowing the car. Just take the keys. Walk off. And if you haven't heard it before, we did have John Wayne on the podcast a few months ago, so go check that out and enjoy, guys. Cristiano, thank you for coming, man, and we'll talk soon.
See you, brother. Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. Have a great day, brother.
Oos.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Sorry for the long wait. I was on vacation for a couple of weeks, but now I'm back. As always, if you're really interested in this podcast and you want us to continue to do it, please show us your support by going to iTunes and subscribing, by downloading, by giving us good ratings, whether it's on iTunes or any app that you have, whatever. Just try to find a way to give us a 5-star rating and a review, and it goes a long way, trust me. And it helps us get more sponsors, which allows us to, just keep this ball moving. Also, if you have any guests or anybody you'd like to hear of on the podcast, try to get in touch with them and tell them to get in touch with us. info@showtheart.com. If you guys have Facebook, we are posting links to subscribe to our new newsletter. And on that newsletter, we're going to just update everybody with all our new products, all the new podcast episodes, everything that we have in one sourced email, probably once every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks. Also, we will be doing a contest on that. One contest, a month. And we will be giving something away each month, whether it may be a gi, a rash guard, some coffee, anything. It might be a bundle package. It might be one thing. But the only way you can enter those contests is if you're already subscribed to our newsletter. So go check that out. Lastly, go to our website, showtheart.com, for some gear. We got T-shirts and tank tops and hoodies up there. Soon we're going to have rash guards. Just show your support, and, if you like our stuff, purchase it. Boom.